Hey, this is Adam Blackstar. And today a thought popped into my mind, and I'm just kind of speaking from the heart here. I don't have anything prepared. But just interacting with people who are Christians in my life who knew me before I deconverted. Friends that I had, some who I was instrumental in getting into religion, and how those relationships have changed since I deconverted. And the greatest evidence to me that I have moved from an unreasonable position to a rational one. And that is that I'm willing to engage anyone on any topic. I'm willing to listen to what they have to say. I'm willing to weigh uh, all the options because my primary interest is in arriving at conclusions in a way that's logical and believing things that are rational and justified. And unfortunately, when I'm together with my Christian friends and family, I don't feel that they place the same degree of importance on reason or on their conclusions being logical or rationally justifiable. And I realize that's kind of like, well, of course not. But I guess it's just playing in my mind more now because I continually have to be around these people. And I say have to like I don't have a choice in the matter or that I'm being dragged into it. And that's not true because they're family and they're friends. I want to be around them. I want to spend time with them. But that doesn't mean it's not challenging. And what I wish that they could know, and I think maybe they do deep down, is that I'm willing to listen to them. I'm willing to, I've told them, in fact, that my deconversion doesn't have to change anything. I'm still willing to listen to you. You can tell me about your religious feelings, your concerns, and I'll listen. But unfortunately, they do not afford me the same rights, the same privilege, I should say. They're not interested in what I have to say. They're not interested in my opinions on anything except maybe very superficial topics. They shut down whenever I start to talk about anything that would in any way uh, force them to have to examine their own position. They just immediately shut down. And the result is that I tend not to talk about myself. I tend not to talk to them very much about topics that I know uh, will cause them to withdraw from interacting with me because it just doesn't accomplish anything other than to put a barrier between us. But it's hard when I'm in their presence and I hear them making assertions or sharing opinions from a worldview that I feel is just totally unreasonable. Very strong opinions and very pointed opinions about other people that is based on this Christian worldview. Just a degree of intolerance and judgmentalism about other people. Christianity does not seem to make people more empathetic. And you would think that it would, if it really is about teaching love and understanding and all those things. You would think that people would feel more empathy for being a Christian, but that doesn't seem to be the case. That's not to say that there aren't Christians who operate out of their empathy, but it seems to the degree to which they do or do not have empathy seems to have no correlation to whether or not they profess Christian beliefs or what denomination or how vigorously they are following those teachings. So it's difficult when I hear these things and for me to reply at all immediately puts me at odds with these folks. There's not any, on my part, as I said, it's like, well, what do you have to say? What's your opinion on this? Let's reason together. Let's share our point of view and come up with the most rational and evidence-based position on this. That's where I'm coming from. With them, it's very much just dogma. And they don't see that, unfortunately. But when I speak, when I share a view that's different, and I start trying to reason with them, I can very much see them getting uncomfortable and recoiling, and their minds are turning, not in the sense that they are actually weighing what I have to say, or that maybe I could be right and they would have to retreat from a position, but their minds are turning in a, well, how do we rebuke what he has to say, because there's no way we can actually consider this because it doesn't align with the our religious dogma or our conservative dogma or the way we were raised, all these values that were instilled in them and are too sacred to be questioned. And sometimes I feel a little heavy about that. When I spend time with my family, it's something that I look forward to doing, but sometimes I walk away just feeling heavy about that. And it didn't used to be that way. It used to be that family was like home. That around family, I knew that that's where I would find that comfortable sense of belonging, that home feeling. And now I don't feel that anymore, not to the degree that I did. And to me, what this all says is that I can be confident that I have traded a position that was weak, that was not based on sound reason, for a much better way of looking at the world. When I'm willing to listen to the other person, and I'm willing to consider what they have to say, and willing to consider that I might be wrong, and have that humility to admit when I'm wrong, how can that not be a better position than the one that just dogmatically digs in their heels and refuses to move from that position simply because it's built into their worldview? And they're not willing to entertain or they don't want to hear another opinion. They want to preach. They want to hear preaching that reaffirms what they believe, but they do not in any way want to be exposed to anything that disagrees or calls anything that they believe into question. And anything that does, they will write it off as some other false religion or the liberal media or something like that. Just whatever they can say to keep from having to consider other views. So on one hand, I'm very happy and I'm very at peace with myself. On the other hand, I am disturbed when I'm around that sort of mindset, simply because I just don't see any solution for it. I don't see any way that we can take these people and that we can ever have a conversation with them that will make them even consider that they could be mistaken in anything. Because, we're not dealing with reason here. We're dealing with emotion. We're dealing with security blankets and a very childish mentality toward reality. So, I don't know. No great revelations here today, but that's just kind of what was on my mind and what I wanted to share. I'm sure that everyone who has deconverted from Christianity and gone public about that can certainly relate to what I'm saying, and probably in many cases have it even worse than I do. So this is not a sob story. It's just a reflection, I guess you could call it. So that's it for me today, and thank you for watching. And I'm Adam Blackstar on Twitter, on Facebook. Like and subscribe if you would, and I'll catch you later.